Hey, good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. You know, we can read in the Word that Jesus said, when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, you don't need to get too excited about it. You don't need to get upset. The end is not yet. These things have to happen. It's just the beginning of the birth pangs. Well, there's some birth pangs happening. This world is going into labor. Y'all need to get out a map. You need to look at the area of the Caspian Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean. Just kind of do that. You can do it on Google. You need to familiarize yourself with that area. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was formed as a counter to the Warsaw Pact, way back. And it's basically Europe and America, right, against the Soviet, Red Devil or something. And it was important at the time. It really was. And one of the things in the NATO agreement is an attack on any member is an attack on all. So if anyone attacks a NATO country, NATO is obligated, all the other countries, to come to that aggrieved nation's aid. So the Cold War sort of ends. Wall comes down. Soviet Union disintegrates. And, I know people say that's just a scam and it didn't really go away, man. It's a big deception. Whatever. So we, as one of the key member of NATO, we start expanding NATO. So the Warsaw Pact disintegrates, and we start pressing our advantage, I guess. So we let other countries in. One of those countries we let into NATO was Turkey. Turkey is a Muslim nation. Let into NATO, a European alliance. This strikes me as a really bad idea. But now Turkey's in NATO, and anyone who attacks Turkey attacks NATO, and NATO's bound and honor bound to come to the defense of Turkey. So look at what Turkey's been doing. Turkey shot down a Russian jet, right? The Russian jets evidently strayed into Turkish airspace while it was bombing, Islamic terrorist targets for 17 seconds. And based on that, the Turks shot it down. You cannot organize your missile defense system to do it that quick. They were ready. They were waiting to shoot down a Russian airplane. They're a bunch of hypocrites, too. The Turks violate Greek airspace all the time with their military jets, and they don't get shot down. So they shoot that down. Russians have a hissy fit, deservedly. They slap a bunch of economic sanctions on them, on Turkey. It's the way of the world, right? And what has happened since then is we have discovered, because, Russia's not stupid, they know, that Turkey has been buying ISIS oil. See, ISIS goes into Iraq, they capture oil fields, they pump that money, that oil, over to Turkey. Turkey buys it, the oil black market, right? Hey, they're not going through the petrodollar. We can't have that. Whatever. They're selling it to Turkey. Turkey gets cheap oil, sells it on the international market, makes money. But this money funds ISIS. And so Russia is trying to cut that off. That ticks off Turkey. Boom, boom, boom. Tension happens. The latest rumor today, which is why you need a map, is that Turkey has blockaded, some reports say seized, a couple Russian ships in the Black Sea in a port. Won't let them proceed. Depending on what they're doing, that could be an act of war. There's also talk that they may be getting ready to close the Bosporus Straits. Constantinople is what it used to be called. Now it's called what? Istanbul. It's how anybody can go from the Black Sea down to the Mediterranean Sea. If you blockade that, you can't go between the two. I think by treaty, it may be Turkey's right to do that, but it's not a good move. Do you think Russia has a plan to keep that area, open? They do. I'm sure it involves something kinetic, which would then require a response from NATO. Look over to the east on your map. Look at Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia. Remember when we were in Georgia? The Russians went in there and the Ossetia, right? South Ossetia, North Ossetia, something like that, a region of Georgia, and got involved in a little mix-up down there. So we sent people over there and helped out the Georgians, who, by the way, have a really cool flag. Well, evidently, Azerbaijan and Armenia are getting ready to mix it up. The Turks support Azerbaijan. They hate the Armenians. Problems, right? The Balkans, it's a little bit further to the west. They're getting ready to go up again. Serbia, stuff like that. People, things are fixing to move, and they could move very slowly and ponderously with more, economic sanctions and more, boom, boom, chest thumping and stuff. They could move really fast. One thing about the Russians is they are decisive when they act. So what am I telling you? Stay tuned. Get on your news, start watching it, get familiar with the area. So when you hear what's happening, you can kind of understand it. Back when I was in the Army, these many winters ago, a big thing was the Caspian Sea region. We had all kinds of war games, map exercises and big war games that we played in the Caspian Sea region. And I used to wonder why. Why do we care about this area? Oil. It's all about oil. The elites use oil to, fuel everything. And this war, in many ways, is about oil. Is it going to affect you? Probably, in one way or another. Right now, oil's cheap, right? $40. That's another talk for another time. Things, I think, are fixing to happen. And you need to get your house in order. You need to get your spiritual house in order first and foremost. You need to get right with Him. You need to get your preparedness house in order. Many of you are slacking. You don't have a lot of food. You don't have a means to get water and make more water. Medical issues, prescriptions, your health, your physical fitness. It's fun to buy guns and bullets. Not so fun to get out on the road and run 5 miles, right? People, stay alert, stay alive. All right, I'll see you out there, maybe.